All right, we're live. Let me ping the Discord. Get rid of those. Hey, Endcraft. Put my phone on Do Not Disturb. You know, I really should do this stuff before I start the stream, shouldn't I? And then... But it's cool, because we gotta wait anyway for people to get on, so... All right, now it says the right thing. Coolio. You hearing me all right? Audio's fine, cool. To my dot files. All right, lonely. Cool, let's give it don't need any more new languages, we've got too many already. Fair enough. Okay. Cool, I'll get started. So last time, I believe we left off right here, right before parsing expressions, right? So should say over here, not yet implemented parsing expression. Cool. So I believe we already have, we already have a good test case. So it's just a matter of making that pass, no? So I was thinking about this a little bit, and I was like, okay, I could look at some of my old code where I've done this before, or I could try it from scratch just for fun. I couldn't really decide. What do you guys think? Should we try to figure out Pratt parsing from scratch, or should we just, you know, loosely base it off of some code we've already written? It'd be fun to try to figure out from scratch. It's not too bad. What do you guys think? Why don't we just give it a shot? Either way's fine. Yeah. Well, maybe for the sake of time, actually, I'll just look at some other code I've written. Here, let me do this. Lib, right? Parse expression. Here we are, right? So this is might not be the best answer to help me decide though. Yeah, well, it's all right. It's good to know you're not gonna hate me for whatever I choose. Yeah, this was the part I knew I was gonna have a hard time remembering if I tried it from scratch. This like whole, you need to look up like a whoa. Check this out, guys. Look, right click, go to definition in NeoVim. Haha. Like what is this? This is an expression, prefix parse function. Yeah. So this returns. Oh yes, this is interesting. Okay. So we need, this is like a function that like looks up which, yeah, we'll do something like this. Okay, so we need this function that by the way, I'm curious, what does cur token do here? See, we have get token. I wonder if this is a bad API. This time I did cur token, advanced, and peak token. Where cur token just returns the current token, peak token returns the next token, but neither of them actually advance. I feel like I like that better. I'm gonna do that. Cur token. I can just copy this pretty much, I think. Oh, all we need is a token kind, I think. And then, yeah. Wait. Oh dear. Oh dear. We can do this. Start. It doesn't make sense to return an end of file here though. No, I feel like we just want to error. Oops, what did I just do? Okay. Check this out. Okay, this can error. That's not how this works. Result, right? Result. And then this guy right now is an option. Yeah, it doesn't change much, but it's not technically correct. Because I think if this... well, maybe it is an end of file. You're right. Wait, how would this work? Oh dear. Oh man, Rust troubles. Just realized you guys probably want this, don't you? Okay, this would be an option. All right, so we'll just make it be, what's or else? Or is what I want. Or yeah, so this should be, I want this to be the result. Okay, so we'll say like let Is this like exactly what I had before? Oh, this is what I had before. It is literally exactly what I had before, but I'm not advancing. Okay, so maybe that's fine, and we just don't advance. Oh dear. And then we'll do like next token, or peak token. So peak looks ahead to the next one. So it's the same thing, except we have this position +1, right? And then advance does that. And then get token turns into cur token. OS from scratch with Rust, wow. Yeah, this is a PL, yeah, PL, programming language. It's gonna originally be Rust, and then we're gonna try to bootstrap it once we have a language. Cool. All right, what's the, okay, so we're not using that, and that's the only problem in here. So now we can go back to what we were talking about, which was parse expression, which calls out to prefix parse function. Okay, so this is kind of what we want. Prefix parse function takes a mutable reference to self, returns a result of a prefix parse function, which we need to define, or maybe it might error. Make that a to do. All right, prefix parse function. What is this? To type prefix parse function, it's a function that takes a parser, a mutable reference to a parser, and returns a result of an expression. Error. Cool. And then this thing basically just matches on the current token, right? So yeah. And returns the right function. Yeah, okay. So then if we have this, if there's nothing, sorry, if it's something that we're not going to handle, we're going to do an error. New, we don't have an error new. All right, hold on a minute. All right, so our error needs a new case. Okay, this error is just literally just a message. That's bad. We'll make it better than that because we want nice errors. Where is it? Prefix parse function, right? Okay. No token. Okay, so no tokens one. We'll do like no prefix parse function for, and then it has a token, right? Like that. This needs to implement debug. And then span needs to implement debug. Okay, and then this needs to implement eq. Okay, now it's happy. So if we can't find a prefix parse function for a certain token, then that's another kind of error. So if it's one of the cases we don't handle, then we will get an error, right? Which is an error. No prefix parse function for self.cur token. What did I do here? Is this what peak programmer looks like? No. This is not what peak programmer looks like. I think there's an error here, but I don't think it's what this guy's telling me. Expected a token. Oh, wait, hold on. Come again? Oh, because this thing can error. That's interesting. Okay, now it works, but that's kind of a shame. So I'm gonna say let cur token the question mark like error propagator and Rust is like maybe my favorite Rust feature. I think it's so good. But cur token. So now here we just check cur token, and then in here we should be able to check cur token. Cur token. Except it might want me to clone it. See, this is bad, but look, if we get to here, then we're erroring anyway, and we're gonna stop. So I don't think it really matters if the performance isn't the greatest, right? Correct? Anybody got any scruples against that? If we're in this branch, we ran into an error, so we're not going to continue compiling. And so it's okay if you clone. And it's just a token, which is literally just like a wrapper around an enum variant. So it's not hard to clone. I can go see how big it is, right? Look, 40 bytes, 40 bytes, right? It's not very big. Wait, that's bigger than I thought it would be. This is 16 and this is 24. Yeah, no, I guess that makes sense. Okay, so 40. Endcraft is sending question marks. Wait, what are the question marks for, Endcraft? Yeah, clone is absolutely fine here. Thank you. Okay. I just feel like every time I write clone, I have to like really justify it because it always makes me feel guilty. I watched the day one today and immediately subbed. Thank you. What do you mean by pattern matching in your language features goal? Pattern matching, I mean like pattern matching. Like Rust depends, I mean, it depends what languages you're familiar with. Like Rust has pattern matching. It's like this right here, the thing I'm doing right now, it's a pattern match. Swift, it's called case, or sorry, it's called switch in Swift. It's also pretty good. I don't think it's quite as good as Rust's. Switch in JavaScript is pretty horrible compared to it. Match in OCaml is really good. It's like that. Oh, that's what the question marks are for. The question mark operator is great. Yes, I love the question mark operator. Chrome saver, yo, TS hard. Yes. Well, TypeScript, I don't know if it's very hard. It's got a lot of rough edges. Oh, so you mean switch cases? It depends what you mean by switch cases. If you mean like Swift switch cases, yes. If you mean JavaScript switch cases, no, they're different. Or by different, I just mean like a lot better. Hey, it's the Lone Shadow again. Yo. And Waken. C switch cases. I haven't done C switch cases. What are C switch cases like? I don't know. People keep asking me this, Waken. How will memory handling be? We haven't really decided just yet. But we will get to this probably before too long because it's kind of a big thing. As soon as we get to the compiler, we'll get to that for sure. I'm thinking like total control, kind of like C style. If that makes sense, but I'm not really sure. All right, cur token. Where were we? C switch cases don't do pattern matching, just integers. Okay, yeah, then it's not really like that. What's the difference between Rust match and JS switch? The difference between Rust match and a JS switch, it's like huge. They're like totally different things, sort of. Like a JavaScript switch, you're switching over some var in here, right? And then you just check it against a list of values. Like it's gonna be, is it foo or is it bar, right? And then you do things based on that, right? And if you want to check, yeah. Whereas in pattern matching, instead of like having values here, you have like, what are they called? Match cases or something. Like it's not just this. Like you can do stuff like, oh, is it between, you know, A and B, or is it between, you know, 0 and 3, or is it, you know, a sum, and then you can capture another var right here, and then you can use it over here, and then you unwrapped it, or is it just none here, you know? It's kind of hard to explain if you're not familiar with it, but that's the basic idea, but there's a lot more to it than that. How is Lonely with me, Lone Shadow? It's going good. Yo, just started watching the other two of these earlier. Awesome. Nice to catch you live. Cool, yeah, glad you're here. C tables, JS address tables. I don't know. Regex. No, it's not like regex. You might be able to use regex. I don't know, but yeah, Empathy Monster is right. Good. Yeah, check out the example in the Rust book. There's a lot to it. It's not just Rust. It's in, well, I don't know a ton of language either, but it's of the ones I know. It's in Swift, has pretty good ones. It's also in OCaml, has it really nice. I think it's a pretty standard thing in functional languages, isn't it? Okay, I keep getting distracted. So okay, so then we just match on these different thingies, you know, and we parse them. Okay. So like if we get a, wait, what is this token? Oh, I really want to be matching on the kind, no? If I get a token, okay, I think I have this imported, right? If I get a, if I have an int literal, doesn't matter what the value is. Okay. Self parse int literal. The closer is maybe Python, where you can like decase foo or bar. Do. Yeah, it's kind of like that, but it's just even more powerful. Have you decided a name for this programming language? It's called Lonely. The name is Lonely. Alright, now we just need to make this thing, parsing literal. But is that the one we want to start with? Probably. Which makes me think I want to start with a simpler. Why is the lang lonely? Because it was going to be lovely. Lovely was my idea. And then my the people on the Discord said lonely was a better idea. And I kind of agree. Lonely is a good name. So we'll make a function parse. Parse int literal is that. Parse int literal. It's a result of an expression with an error. Okay, expression int literal self.expect int. Well, I don't have this expect int thing. Alright, now we just gotta go make expect int. We just keep following the trail of breadcrumbs down the road. How far are you in the development? Are you planning on making edited or just cutted versions of the lives? How far are you in the development? Oh, sorry. Brain fog. Not very far. I'm kind of just starting out with the parser, and then where you got to do the compiler. Well, first we got to do like the semantic analysis, right? And then like type checking and variable declaration and stuff, and then compiler. I'm not planning on making edited versions of the lives, but I am planning on making monthly review videos of each month. So that's almost as good, isn't it? Discord dropping L's there. Lovely is nicer for sure. Yeah, lovely is good too. Lonely, lovely. I'm not really sure yet. It's been being called lonely so far. Lovely's good. Maybe we'll change it. I don't know. Who knows if it's gonna be called lovely? You kind of convinced me that lovely was better. That was the initial idea. Lonely was more just funny. What do you guys think? All right, we're gonna do a poll. Chat, we're doing a poll. Start a poll. Which is the better name? Lovely or lonely? Ooh. Lovely's winning. All right, well. Chat has spoken. It's lovely. Luckily, that's the only thing I had to change. Oh, I need to change the Git repo. Hold on. Can't believe I'm doing this. Where's my repos? Lonely. This needs to become a lovely. Lovely. Boom, now it's lovely. Yeah, like Dreambird. Yeah, 12 people make the history of renaming a language. Cool. Yeah, that's what you got to do when you come on stream. You got to shape the history of the industry. All right, where were we? Parse. Oh yeah, we need to make this expect int. Oh yeah, because these end up being really handy. Real handy. I like things that are handy. Check it out. Expect int. Where do you want me to put that? Down here? Okay, function expect int. Mut self. It might error, everything can error. Result, oops. Result I32. Why isn't it I32? Who knows why it's an I32? I think I'm using iSize, no? Error. Bacon likes lovely. Oh, good. Appreciate that, Bacon. What level will the language be? And then you said low SC or like higher like Rust. And then you deleted that one. I don't know that Rust is... Yeah, it's going to be pretty low level. I mean, it's for writing an operating system, so it needs to be kind of low level. I need to have some control. Do you have null or rather something like option result type? If I make null, it'll just be like syntactic sugar over some option type. Alan Manning is here for the warm hug linter and formatter. Yes, me too. I think tooling is like makes or breaks a language for me. If the tooling's good, then I'll be so much more willing to use it. That's like probably 30% of why I like Rust is because the tooling is so good. All right, so we got objects, or will you come up with a new concept entirely? It wouldn't be like objects. If you mean like JavaScript objects, no, but it might, probably like structs. Like structs, yeah. Which is more like a JavaScript interface, if that's what you're familiar with. Not a TypeScript interface, right? JavaScript doesn't have types. Okay, expect int says, all right, if let token doink doink int literal. Sorry, we don't have this. We have token kind. Token kind int literal int equals self dot cur token dot kind. Sorry, we imported all of this. Joink. Then we well, what is this? Self dot advance. The name is Lovely, formerly Lonely. Formerly, as in 5 minutes ago, it was called Lonely, and now it's called Lovely. What type of Mac am I using? This is an M2 Pro. It's a MacBook Pro with an M2 Pro chip. I think I got it like 2023. Whoops. All right, and then we okay with int, and then we're gonna remember why. Uh-oh. Why are these U size? These need to be I size. Is this gonna cause problems elsewhere? Yep, we're making history here. Yeah, look at that. We got problems. We got problems. And we can't read them because the terminal's so small. And Alexer. So what happens when you change your types? Oh, shucks. Let's read int. iSize. Oh dear. iSize. And now our errors are back in the parser, which is cool with me. Make that big again. Okay, and then all right. Else is I size big enough to hold the maximum U size? I wouldn't think so, right? Because it's signed. Int. Do you have any example syntax already? I do have some example syntax. You want to see it? Although I was thinking about this a little more, and I kind of want to change some things. I feel like I want to make it more terse. Do you guys think that's a bad idea? But let me finish what we're going here with the parser, and then we might talk about that. So, is it 13? No, this is 16-inch. Advanced. Okay, else to do. Okay, then we'd have an error. Error. This is like a new error type, right? Expected. Expected token kind. You know, this should really take a kind too. Well, no, token's good. But this should be a kind. This expects a token kind. Okay. Expected int literal. How's my parser structured? Haven't seen that video yet. I mean, this is the parser. So you kind of see here how it's structured, I think. Have I tried Linux before? Just a question, not a suggestion. Not really. So when like Asahi Linux was a thing, or maybe it still is, I thought there was some trouble with it though. I downloaded and tried that out for a little bit, because you can run it on Apple Silicon, but not seriously. I haven't really tried it. Wait, how do you? This takes a parameter, but I don't really. Doesn't really matter. I just kind of want to reference it. Maybe this isn't the best API. Okay, new idea. Expected is just gonna, just gonna take a string. String. Can I program in NASM? That's what I'm learning right now in the other videos. It's been a lot of fun. Okay, I'm gonna make an impl error pub fun. Yeah, pub fun expected. No. Cool. We're gonna do this. That's nice. Okay. See, like, why over here I need to do this and why over here I didn't? That's just one of those mysteries in life. Because this token holds on to a reference, whereas this token holds on to the real deal. Why? I don't know. Okay. Okie dokie, okie dokie. So now I have expect int. Okay, so now we actually need to use this thing. So parse expression. Parse expression. So this is what it's actually going to do here, right? So we're going to say, oh, I was going to make a new test first. Okay, so I'm gonna comment out this test for now. I'm going to make another test. Called single int. I just want to parse the int 12. Right? And then I just want it to be an expression statement. The expression isn't an infix actually, but it's actually an int literal 12. That's it. That's what we want. Why is it passing? Because I didn't make it a test. Okay. That's better. Not yet implemented parsing expressions. Cool. Because this thing needs to be made. Cool, cool. Oh yeah, so we go over here, we look at this. So we're gonna say let mut exper equals self dot prefix parse function, which can error. We pass it self. Now this would be a result, so we're gonna question mark it, propagate that up, and now we just have an expression. You know, I really didn't understand anything. Anything of what? Of like what we're doing right now, or my answer to a question? Oh yes, and then this is the magic of Pratt parsing. Shoink. For the curious, Pratt parsing. Is that what it's called? Pratt parsing. Yeah, this is it. Hey, look, this is in Rust. We should just follow this thing. This is awesome. Anything from anything, I mean what you're right. Do you know Rust? Because that'd probably be a hindrance, right, if you don't know Rust. Guys, check this out. This is cool. But we already have it implemented here, so we can just kind of go from the code. All right, so then we like while self dot cur. Okay, we don't have a cur precedence. What's this cur precedence business all about? It's this. We'll put it right here. Function cur precedence. It returns a precedence. MatClad articles are very good. See, I've never even heard of this guy. Oh, now he's into Zig and tariffs and Dino. Comptine Zig go around. This is what that's like what SQLX is. Oops. Wait, that was good. This thing, but this is for Rust, but it uses macros instead of comptime. Whoa. I'd be very interested in something like this. What's Majit? Rust ugly syntax. Wow, this looks good. I'm gonna bookmark this guy. Shoink. Will this simplify? Yeah, I mean, the more you do it, the easier it gets, for sure. All right, so we return precedence, right? So we match self.cur token. No, it was majjit, I think. majjit. Self.cur, which can error, no? Oh no, which means this thing can error. That's okay. We can make this error. Result. All right, now we have this. We match on that. We really want to match on the kind. And then over here, if it's like if it's a plus, then it's a precedence sum. If it's anything else, it's a precedence lowest. What is the matter here? Oh, these need to be OKs. Ta-da, okay. See, this is the nice part about having everything being an expression, because you can just do stuff like that. Okay, and then there's a few more of these, right? If it's a minus, it's also sum. If it's a times, what did I call it? Multiply? That wasn't a good name for it. Product. If I did divide, it's also product. If it's a left paren, then it's a group. All right, let me rename these. This should be asterisk. And this should be slash. Cool, so now we have curve precedence, and then where were we? All these to-dos, okay, right here, right? So then, parse expression, there we go. Cur precedence. It's greater than precedence. This, there we go. Second error. Then we match on the current token. Which also can error. You found with making languages that it's all fun and games while writing the parser and lexer, but when you get to having to write the semantic passes, I usually get burnt out. Well, semantic passes are the next step, right? So we'll see what happens. Cur token, all right, and then we just kind of check these, right? If it's a token, oh, we need to be checking the kind. Lone Shadow. Everyone here will probably recommend something different, but give Python a try for first language. Yeah, everybody here probably would recommend something different. Like, I don't know any Python. All right, so if we have a int literal, then return error. Wait. Let's make a new error type that's like a generic, like just a message that holds onto a string. And then we'll have a function that's like a message, you know. It's basically this exact same thing. But this is message. Sorry, message. Personally, you think writing parser sucks? I think it's pretty fun. Python is great, but it's also awful. But it works great until it doesn't. Just need to know where it's bad. And graph parsers are the easy part. I can whip one up in 2 to 3 hours sitting. It doesn't. Yeah, it's not hard. It's just not a fun thing to do. Okay. Message. I'm just gonna say syntax error for now. Yeah, this is like the magic of a parser, is like this, where you keep mutating this expression. Like we have an expression, and then we keep looking at the next thing. You should clarify, you like the stream, but you just don't like writing them yourself. No worries. All right, if it's an, because if you saw one and then another 2 right here, this would always be an error. Like you don't just have 2 numbers sitting next to each other. But if you saw like a 1 and a 2 with like a plus between them, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? All right, so return error. Here's our error. Our error is error. We'll just do one of these for now. Syntax error. Oh dear. This loop never actually loops. Yeah, give us a second. That's kind of crazy that you can see that though. Oh, it's a Clippy thing. Clippy's nuts. If it's an EOF, then we'll return expr. If it's a plus, then we need to parse. All right, let me comment that out for a second. We need to have this parse infus expression. Which is an interesting one. So here we'll have parse infix expression returns a result of result of expression error. Godot. Never used Godot. Aren't they thinking about using Swift though? I've heard that. So parse infix expression, first it advances, I guess, to get past the token it's on. And then we're going to let right hand side equal self.parse expression precedence. See, this is the magic recursive part. Because this takes myself, right? But it also takes a left-hand side, which is an expression. You don't have the right-hand side first, which is the crazy part. And then operator, which is an infix operator. And then it has a precedence. All right, and then we do that, and then we do OK, expression, infix. Wait, how did I define this over here? Because this is a lot nicer than what I have over here. Hold on, AST expression. Like this whole, the way this like holds on to stuff like this is bad. So we could just inline this. Infix has all these. Shoink. They don't need to be that. Oops. Oops. There we go. And then we don't need any of this. And then we can do the same thing with prefix. Prefix. Even function call. Function call. Which has these things. And then we can get rid of this. Yeah. Cool. So there's expressions. It's a lot nicer. So now I can just do expression infix, and then it just directly does this. The operator. The operator is the operator. I also like the way that these are named over here better, so let's go over here. I'm gonna call this left, and let's call this right, and I'm gonna change the order to that. So I'm gonna change this to left, right, operator. Left becomes, because these are boxed, right? Yep. Boxed. Left hand side. And this becomes box new right hand side. The operator just stays the same. Okay. Deleted user. I'm trying to learn about parsers from AI, but still have some doubts. Are parsers just if-else statements of if this token is used, then check the next token is this one of these? It's a little more than that. They're like heavily recursive. And yeah, if you haven't seen this, I'll send it in the chat. I'd highly suggest giving this book a read, because it's like it's what explained it to me. This is the only reason I sort of know what I'm doing with parsers, is because I've gone through this book. Also, another good one is crafting. This one's good too. All right, we got some errors cooking around. No? That's not a thing anymore. Oh, so this is different now. This is just infix, and then that. Oh, and then I gotta delete. Okay, get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. How's that? Oh dear. Oh, this becomes left. This becomes right. This becomes here. Infix becomes that, left, right, operator comes here. Okay, that's a little easier to read now. All right, where were we? So now with plus, oops. With plus, you're welcome, deleted user. So then plus, what do we do? Right here. With plus, then we say, okay, expr, make it equal to self.parse infix expression with the following, with expr, right being the left hand side, which is crazy. You just keep updating this expr, like passing itself in as the left hand side as you find another operator on the right hand side, right? It's really interesting. Infix operator plus as the operator, and then precedence sum. This might error. Boom. All right, and then I'm just gonna skip the rest for now. We'll implement them in a second, and then at the bottom here, we just return the expression. So, now comes the fun part of the program where we get to go and debug everything because it's not working. So I'm gonna blow this big. Shoink. Okay. Open up our tests. So we're getting no token when we wanted this, right? So where does no token come from? Here or here? So I don't think we're ever using peak token, which to do verify this is actually being used. Oh, cool. You're working on a language too? Pyrotech 45. Because right now it's not. Actually, we'll just make it if we need it, right? We'll just get rid of it. So the error is coming from in here, right? No token. Because that's the only spot it's being, yeah. Alright, so let toke equal self dot tokens dot get self dot position. Oh wait, can't I just wrap this in a debug? Debug. Shoink. First of all, for some reason it's running like 3 times. What is our test case? We're trying to parse 12, right? Okay. At the end here, we're getting a none, which makes sense. Okay, so I think the problem here, will this programming language be possible? Will this programming language be faster than Rust? And it's possible, but I highly doubt it given Rust uses LLVM and that is designed by some of the best in the industry. Rust is very close to optimal performance. At this low level point, the actual program is much more important than the language. Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to beat Rust. I'm not trying to beat anybody really, so. What sites do you use to learn fast typing, or were you like this from the beginning? I wasn't like this from the beginning at all. I remember a long time ago, I did some typing practice stuff, but this is just that. That's just from practice. I just type all day long. It's just my job, so that's why I can type sort of fast. The other thing that has helped me is I use can you guys see this? Shoink. This is the ZSA Voyager. And having, like, there's a bunch of keyboards like this. The one feature that I say is like killer is that's not on normal keyboards is that the keys are like vertically stacked like that, you know, they're not offset, which really helps me a lot. But otherwise, yeah, monkey type is great. Voyager, nice. Yeah, it's a Voyager. Thumb clusters are the huge. Yeah, thumb clusters are the best. Will my language be object-oriented or some flavor? Also, we'll be doing generics or type inference of any sort. Generics and type inference are, yes, as far as object-oriented, not like Java style. It'll definitely have some object-oriented features, but I don't think it'll be heavily object-oriented. Okay, so I think the problem is, yeah, this needs to return end of file and not an error. So I'm going to return here. I'm going to return that. Otherwise, I'm going to return make this return a token kind. And then this doesn't even need to return a result. Is there a mapper that would do the same thing? Self.tokens get self.positions map, or yeah, EOF, and then T becomes T.kind.clone. Cool. Whoa, I successfully used map. Look at me, all functional. Hello, Mukesh. If what I've heard is correct, I don't think there's a 20 to 30% overhead. There may be a little bit, but I don't think it's 30%. Are you guys appreciating this nice, concise thing now? So then that breaks everything everywhere. So instead of this, we just do that. Makes it simpler, no? All these question mark dot kind we no longer need. Question mark here is no longer needed. We just do that. Cur token. Oh no. All right. So now that at this point, this probably wants a kind. No, we just make this have a kind. Token kind. Self.cur token, yep. This, we don't need that. Wait. Oh my word, it is passing. Who knew? Okay, so we're successfully parsing 12. If I make this 122, it fails, right? Because it's actually 122. So now the real test is this guy, which should fail. All right, it fails because I got a syntax error. Why did I get a syntax error? Will I be writing a linker? No. My current plan is not to write a linker, but can I just use like LD after I generate the NASM? But I hear that cool languages do write their own linkers because the linker ends up kind of being slow. No? How do you plan on doing memory management? We were just talking about that. I haven't decided yet. We're going to talk about that very shortly. But it's probably going to be sort of C style, Zig style-ish. I think those two things are similar, aren't they? You're very welcome, Lone Shadow. All right, this is why I need better error. Syntax error. There's two places. Look, there's syntax error 1, and there's syntax error 2. We are getting syntax error 2, which is because we encountered something. Okay. Okay. Let's have okay, token here. I'm gonna say syntax. I'm gonna say, what am I gonna say? First of all, I want to rename this message thing to syntax error. Syntax error. Syntax error. I'm gonna rename this. Oops. I'm gonna rename this to syntax error. Okay, I'm gonna call this token. I'm gonna say syntax error. Oh, and then the cool thing. I'm gonna prefix this over here. I'm gonna say format with syntax error. Check it out. And then over here, oops, it'll be S. S goes in here. Isn't that cool? All right, so then this can just be consecutive ints, right? Because this would be if we had 2 ints in a row, I think. This says invalid operator. Oops. Token kind needs to have display. After using Rust and Python, I would hate to have to do manual memory stuff all the time, unless you need to go low level. That would make sense in my honest opinion. Well, I do need to go low level. The purpose of this is to make an operating system, you know? So I feel like that kind of makes sense, but I don't know. It's something we'll talk about shortly. Yeah, what was it? Token kind needs to implement display, or oh, here it is. Token kind display. Okay. Wait, can you not derive display? Okay, we need to make our own display. Import display. This guy. For token kind. You can't derive display now. That's a shame. Well, I guess it kind of makes sense, doesn't it? I do not use an iPhone 3. Nope. How do you do this? That? Look, yeah, invalid operator, high. So this is working. Okay, so we just do write string. But okay, so let stir equal. Look, who was asking for about match expressions? Here we go. Match self. If we have a value, it'll be val. This will be this will be fun. This will be left arrow. This will be right arrow. This will be left paren. This will be right paren. This will be left brace. This will be right brace. This will be colon. This will be comma. This will be this guy. This will be new line, right? We'll call it that. You can't really see that, can you? Now you can see it. Okay. Doesn't Rust provide this functionality as built into the compiler for you? What functionality are you referring to? Not is the bang. Plus is the plus. This is the minus. This is the slash. This is the asterisk. This is the exponent. This is the equal. This is the not equal. This is the less than. This is the greater than. This is the less than or equal. This is the, so that's less than or equal. This is greater than or equal. Will this language support floating point numbers? Yeah, it better, but it doesn't right now. Identifier. Oh wait, we can do it here. Check it out. Oh wait, no, we can just do I. Huh? the file, maybe that. What did I call it? Stir. No, type. How is that even legal? So now we get star, invalid operator star. It's cool, that's super cool. Actually, for writing an operating system, you could probably do without floats. I feel like until I got to like graphics, maybe. Don't you think? Invalid. Okay, so there's that. That's a good error. So we just need to add one for asterisk. If we have asterisk, then we need to make this into multiply. Precedence of product. It's working. I'm gonna add the other two we need. So this is minus. This becomes minus. This becomes slash. This becomes divide. This becomes product. Hey folks, we just made a, yeah, graphics would be an issue. We just made a working Pratt parser. Well, we should probably test it a little more. I'm gonna pull out a helper function here. I'm gonna replace this with super, well, I don't know, that's fine. I'm gonna say, okay, function expect AST. It'll take a, what is this, a program? Yeah. No, it'll take input, which is a stir, and it'll take an AST, which is a program. There we go. That's right. And it's basically going to do all of this. Oops. And then, except for we have input AST how's that? And then here we can just do expect AST from 122, and then we don't need that. Cool. This makes testing a lot easier on us. Here, this is 1 plus 2 times 3. And we don't need this. It's working. If I made that into -3, it'd fail. If I turn this into this, there's no prefix parse function for left paren. All right, let's do that real quick, and then we'll write some more tests. No pre. That's no place, right? Okay. So now we're only supporting in literals. Gotcha. Where's my little helper? Oops. Oh dear. Hello, Bashka. All right, where do we have this? Prefix. All right, so we don't have curlies or parens or idents or trues or false. We just have, I just want to get parens in here because that's the only thing we support so far. Parens. Cool. So if we have left paren, it doesn't do that. Then we will go to OK, self, parse, grouped expression. Cool. Can we look at this? Should be pretty straightforward. So hello. Where are we at? We're parsing parentheses right now, and everything else so far has been working, but we're gonna write some more tests to double check in a second as soon as I get this written in. This was a former parser I'd made, so I'm sort of referencing some things from in here. Parse int literal, yeah, I'll do right here, or I'll do it below. So right here, I'll say parse grouped expression, which is what I'm calling a parentheses expression, self result expression error. And then it's gonna to do it for now. Okay, self.advance. So we move into the parentheses, and then we let expr equals self.parse expression precedence dot lowest, because we reset. Sorry, that's not how Rust works. Because we reset, once you get inside of parentheses, you reset the precedence, right? Because they're like overarching. And then match self dot cur token, and then token right paren. If you find, that's not right. Find a right paren, then we'll advance. And we'll, yes, this is after we've parsed an entire expression, right? We're after the expression, right? So we're checking what was right after the expression. It needs to be closed by a parentheses, right? So expert will return the expression. Otherwise, if there's no what do we have? Expected. Do we have a, yeah, we do. There we go. We got issues all over the place now. It might be because we're not using this. Oh no, we are using it. All right, so now we need to fix these issues. Oops. What are these issues? No prefix parse function for left paren. I thought we just made one. Oh, it's because, oh no, it is working. So look, this is the same as this because the multiplication has higher precedence, but this should error. Cross your fingers. Yes. Awesome. Super great. Because this isn't the same thing, right? But this is the same as this. Kind of having closures and stuff. I don't know if functional programming is kind of cool with stuff like that. It is. Yeah, I was thinking. Anybody in chat have experience with Swift UI? Because I was thinking. Right, so at some point I want to have like a GUI for my operating system, right? And if I'm gonna want like a graphics library, having trailing lambdas or trailing closures, like whatever different languages call them different things, makes making like DSLs for graphics libraries so nice. Like Swift UI is the prime example, I think. Like the syntax looks really good. So something like that might be nice. Along those lines, will you support iterators? Yes, I hope to. But everything's really just a hope at this point, so I can't promise anything. Cool, so let's make some more. I'm gonna make a more complicated test case. I'm gonna expect AST, like what would be something complicated? Say we had like 1 minus 3, but in parentheses, right? Or maybe nested parentheses, like 1 divided by 3 plus 2 times, or I'll make this minus 3 plus 2 times through 122 minus 9. How's that for a test case? Wait, you have an AST already? Yeah, there's an AST already. We're already parsing. But it's only working for stuff like this. But honestly, this is like the hardest part I've found. The type of programmer I want to become in the next 5 years. Thanks for the live. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely better programmers out there, but even in this chat. But I really appreciate it, and you're very welcome for the live. Closures in assembly are a nightmare. They're the reason I quit on 3 to 4 lengths I started on. Well, yeah, we'll see what happens. Maybe also add a test case with multiple operators on the same precedence. A good idea, Minecraft. Let's do that first, because that's easier. Like, let's do what you suggested. 6 minus 3 minus 2. This thing should be left associative, right? So I should... wait, is this even it? This might even be it. Wait, infix. Well, let's not even look at it. Let's write what we know we want, okay? We know we want a statement that's an expression statement. That is an expression. It's an infix expression. What are the sides? Well, the left side is the 6 minus 3, right? The right side is 2. Because it's left associative, right? So it groups these together and then groups that, right? So the left side is an expression infix. Correct, this needs to be boxed. All right, the left is expression. It also needs to be boxed. Box, new, expression int literal, should be 6. Something really similar for right. except there should be no, it should be 3. The operator should be minus. It should be infix operator minus. Okay, the operator between the 2 should also be minus. And then the right here should be not 3 but 2. Sure enough, it works. Just left associative. That's super cool. All right, let's try this big doozy here. This is where I like to turn on Copilot, except for, hold on. Yep, I gotta do this to use Copilot. Makes me not rely on it so much. Just kidding, it's actually, I can't fix it, so. But it is actually kind of nice. All right, down. Whoa, 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 whoa. We got issues. Okay, issues resolved. This thing is totally not working. Okay, Copilot just gave me that. That looks like total garbage. Look, it's not even got the right. Who knows what the answer is? Probably the semicolon. No, that's probably good. Statement, statement, this. Boom. Hey, it was right. But is it actually right? The left side should be this. So it's an infix. Yep, it should be between a 1 on the left. The left is a 1. The right is an addition of a 3 and a 2. Correct. This one should be a 122 minus 9 is an infix. Yeah, they're multiplied. 122 minus 9. Totally works. So this is pretty awesome, no? I wonder if I could I can make some little DSL that makes writing these tests a lot easier. But that sounds like a waste of time right now. Maybe later on. Jappy, what if the 9 was instead 9999, like with parentheses? It shouldn't change anything. See? But if I remove one of these parentheses, it should give me a syntax error. Expected closing parentheses, see? This is a good place to commit, isn't it? Parsing expressions. Cool. Let's push it to master. Crazy good progress for 3 days. Thanks. Yeah, it's going pretty good so far. I just realized this directory I'm in is still called lonely, which is bugging me since this is now called lovely. So, lonely. Let's call it lovely. Now we'll go to lovely. Shoink, now we're in lovely. Cool. What should we do next? I'm still kind of pumped. I kind of want to keep going. Let me just make sure that what do we have here? The Bible, my other book, and here we go, browser. Look, this changed to lovely. And we have a real parser in here now. Should this be interpreted or compiled? Definitely compiled. Look, it's not even that much code and it already works. That's pretty cool. All right, let's yeah, what should we do next? Oh no. Fine, syntax. Hold on. Okay. See you, Lone Shadow. Thanks for joining the stream. Good luck in your learning journey. Are you part of the Programming Lang Dev Discord? It's pretty great. Lots of helpful people. No, I'm not. Should I join it? Should I join it? You think so? I'll do it right now. How do you do that? Discover. Servers. What is it? Programming Lang Dev? Programming Language Dev. This one? Oh boy, moving a Git folder so freely. Well, I had it on GitHub. After a while, if you become a regular, you can get your own channel for your language. No, by the way, that's cool. Parser parses tokens. What was the Lexer again? Lexer makes tokens out of raw text. This one, okay. Get an overview, discuss programming languages. Okay, I'll just look around for now. Bunch of rules. Oh, cool. So these are all different projects. That's super cool. Is Amulet in here? No. That's super fun. It's a lot of people too. Cool, yeah. I'll definitely check that out. Yours is Nova. Cool. All right. So, all right, we need to think of a good next step. So I said we might change the syntax. So maybe we can talk about this a little bit. This is always a little bit tricky for me, thinking about syntax. So I was staring at this, which we have, and I feel like it doesn't quite align. I could be wrong about this, but I feel like it doesn't quite align with our core philosophy number 1. Now, core philosophy number 1 states, if readability isn't lessened, less syntax is better. This is kind of a lot of syntax, don't you think? So I feel like it could be a little bit, potentially, less verbose. Or do you guys think it's fine how it is? What do you guys think? It's also hard to look at when it's all the same color. Maybe it's fine. I don't know. What are those squigglies? You mean these guys? That means you don't need to label the parameters in the function call. Whereas if you leave them off like here, then you do need to label it in the function call. Oh yeah, good point. This should be .lv. Bunch of people giving 5-minute talks about their projects or whatever else at 6 p.m. That's super cool. Maybe I'll join that. Yes, that was totally inspired by Swift. Except for in Swift, you use the underscore, you know? But I'm using the squigglies. Hey, ICXD is here. Hey, ICXD, you're kind of a language nerd. We're about to, we just made a working Pratt parser that parses expressions correctly, and it's working. But now I'm doubting myself about syntax. I feel like this might be a little too verbose. Do you think I could like make it less verbose? That's dope. Thank you. Okay, here's alternate take. Take 2. This was take 1. Take 1. We want to do this, write the same thing, right? So variable declaration. I'm fine with comments being this. This doesn't feel bad to me. But like this, I don't know. What if we didn't even have the val keyword? How would I have a function taking more arguments of different types, like this one? You just do comment just like normal, like that. This is just if you have 2 of the same type, then you can do this syntax. Yes, correct. Got to keep ambiguity in mind when designing the language. Yes, I know. So do you think this is fine? I'm just wondering if it's too much syntax. Maybe it's fine. I feel like what's really not fine is the fact that it's all the same color, which makes me want to make a tree sitter grammar for it. If you want int string, I feel like you just, maybe we can make that work, what you suggested, or you just say x int y int s string. You see it looks fine? All right, we'll roll with it for now. But there's also like just really short things like this. The 2-person ambiguities. This is exactly what Swift does. This was taken straight from Swift. All right, we'll roll with it. We'll roll with it. All right, so let's have a vote of what we should do next. What are kind of our options, right? Next steps. So steps. We already have this and this. So we could add more syntax, or we could start actually trying to compile what we already have, or we could make a tree sitter grammar. Yeah, the Jai Odin. What does that even look like? Where's, I want to look at that. Isn't Jai like still not available? Odin lang. Looks like this. So this is like for defining functions. That's kind of nice. Colon is for constants. Gotcha. But then, well, I got so many questions about this. How do I distinguish between if I have something like this, for example, the distinction between, like, what if this didn't return anything? It just did some side effect. Wait, is this what you were talking about in the Discord earlier, ICXD? Because if I wanted to have a trailing lambda, then how do I distinguish this as a function declaration from this just being a storing the result of this call? I guess the fact that these have types is like maybe the only way, but it's very similar. Is that the exact same thing? Proc is a keyword. Oh, gotcha. That does make sense. So I might make it look like that. Wait, so if this is for constants, then is this for, what do they use for variables? Oh dear. Variable declaration. Yeah, okay. So the walrus operators for variables. And then they use this for reassignment. So if I did that, so if this is again, that's kind of nice. Then if I try to rewrite this, I'd have variable declaration. Foo would become this. Bar becomes, no, foo becomes this. Bar becomes 4. But I also want to specify it's an int, so I could do this. Functions would become, I'd say calc. Calc is a fun. Why bar int equals 4, not bar int this thing equals 4? Oh. I get it. So when you're not specifying a type, there's nothing here. So it's like this. Because that's shorthand for bar int bar equals 4. Is that what you're telling me? That this is equivalent to this? Yeah, basically. Okay. And do you put a space there or not? I feel like it makes more sense with the space there. So if I want to specify this, I'd do the same thing here, like that. Whoa. I actually really like this. Jai does this too. So fun here, and then we'd have x, y, which are ints. This returns an int. And then we'd have z becomes x over y, z squared. And then we do calc foo bar. And then I'd have say hi becomes a fun 2-person string print hi person. And then we say hi to Stefan. I don't know, man. Odin and Jai are like brand new languages. And this is pretty nice looking, actually. I mean, it's totally different from anything I'm used to. So did Jai take the syntax from Odin? Is that what happened? And Odin is like the one that kind of invented this? Or you said it's from Ada? Is all this from Ada? Other way around? Jai came first? Oh, I didn't know that. Maybe debate about putting the arrow before the return type of function or not. Oh, like this? That does make even, yeah. That does make it even less syntax. I don't really think how old school it is matters. I agree with Encraft. And old school is such a matter of taste. And there were such good things in the past too, so. What do you guys think? Arrow or no arrow? Well, listen, if we adhere to philosophy number 1, if readability isn't lessened, less syntax is better. This doesn't really lessen the readability. Yeah, no, Kotlin's good in that, but I don't know, this may be, I slightly prefer this, or something like this. I don't know, we'll see. I really like this actually. And what about using hashes? That might fit the feel a little bit better, makes it even more old school feeling. You could do something like mut_foo := for mutable variables and have : be for comp time non-variables. How does this freak code without ChatGPT? I use it sometimes. I don't think I've used it once yet today though. Okay, what do you guys think? I'm going to do a poll. So you're saying : for variables and : for comp time. What about it says something different for comp time? Because I kind of like using this for, like, this feels nice as a function definition. Yeah, I think we use something else for comp time. Like, what if we use like a triple : for comp time or something, or double semicolon or something different? I don't know, something. Well, the colon equals is kind of all over the place, right? It's in Go, and this is kind of what I was curious about, like this sort of thing here, or this sort of thing here, right? That's what intrigues me. When you say less syntax is better, what exactly do you mean? I mean, like, not, my AirPods just died. Luckily I wasn't listening to anything. I mean, like, useless syntax that isn't doing anything. Like, if there was like a new here for some reason, like a new function that, and then you like double wrap these, like this would be pointless syntax, you know? So it'd be better to have less, like take those out, you know? Does that make sense? Yeah, don't overdo the syntax. Guys, I'm going to do a poll. Which syntax do you prefer overall? Take 1 or take 2. Take 2 is winning by a little bit. I'm leaning towards take 2. Okay, take 2 is winning. Take 2 is more minimal, yeah. See, what if we got rid of these parentheses? No, that's horrible. You know what I thought about? You know, like OCaml's type inference, where you like literally don't even need these, but it's still just as good as if you did. What if we did that? Maybe not. It's kind of nice to be explicit sometimes, I suppose. All right, we'll take 2 as just barely winning, 53 to 47. All right, I'm thinking I'm gonna go with take 2. Any other modifications you could see me making to take 2? Will your functions require parameter and turn types or not? I don't want to make them optional. I want to make them either not required, like illegal, or required. I don't want to make them optional. I don't like it when there's too many decisions to make like that. So. Well, how do you guys feel about this? Anything else that should change? You could always get rid of the fun keyword. But then, that is true. But then, how do I distinguish that from, yeah, okay. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. What do you guys think? Fun or no fun? It does add to the ambiguity. If you want to wrap a math expression in parens, what? Yeah, parens look better. Guys, we don't need to keep arguing about Ada. Hey, Stefan's here. Hey, Stefan, I want your take. Yeah, what about that? 1 + 2 × 3? That does get ambiguous? Where would that get ambiguous? Oh, like if I had foo is 1 + 2, like that? here if I didn't have the fun keyword. Yeah, but yeah, exactly. But then I couldn't have something here. Like this would make it a function and this would not make it a function. True. So maybe we should have fun. Take one without val, exactly. This is a bit painful to parse. I don't think it'll be too bad. Maybe it will though. Stefan, what do you think about the take two here? These are both doing the exact same things. Take one and take two, but take two is new syntax. Oh, you mean without the fun keyword? True. Yes, with the fun. Yeah, I get that. Because you'd have to look all the way ahead to try to find the like squirrely, no? But with the fun, it's easier. So let's use fun. Makes it less ambiguous. But yeah, Stefan, what do you think about take two here? What about val and var for mutability? That's exactly what we're trying to get rid of, right? Now we have colon and colon equals. Yeah, fun keyword is more fun. Odin syntax is not for Stefan. You prefer the top syntax, Stefan? Taking it back, take two slaps? Yes. Okay, cool, guys. We got Stefan on our side. Okay, if I hear Ada one more time in chat, then bad things are going to happen, okay? All right, I think we're going to go with take two. Stefan. Well, it's good that we're making this big change now when all we've been able to parse is expressions, and none of these are expressions, right? Like this, I mean, the expressions haven't changed is what I'm trying to say, right? So we're parsing the expressions, but expressions haven't changed. So we don't have to change our parser. We need to go and change our lexer, get some new syntax, right? Cool. All right, let's implement this. How are we gonna do this? Okay, we need to. Oh, I lost my tests. All right, tests are running. I like keeping those running in the background. We'll go over to our lexer, and we need to update our tokens, right? So we got some new tokens. Test.lovely. Just FYI, KaiJH, functions wouldn't be a thing anymore because they're now expressions. Oh, you mean like function statements? I gotcha. Yeah, because this part is just an expression, and you're just assigning it to this. This is an expression. This is an assignment expression, but the right side is still just an expression. Sorry, an assignment statement. The right side is an expression. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, function declarations aren't a statement anymore. Correct. Um, yeah, Endcraft has a good point. It's easier to parse, but it's easier to read if the identifier is early. All right, so we no longer have val or mut. We still have fun. Fun is still a keyword. Left arrow is no longer in the syntax, neither is the right arrow. We still have parens. Do you want assignments to return their old value so you could do a equals b equals 3, or are you forbidding that? Like, do I want assignments to be expressions too? Like side effect expressions? I think I'd want to forbid that, for now at least, until I see a good use case. I think assignments should be statements. We still have this, we still have colon, we still have comma, we still have tilde, we still have a new line. Okay, question for all of you who are good at Odin and Jai and Data, I guess. Is this its own token? No, this is just 2 colons, right? Because I could put a type in here. Correct? So this is actually just 2 colons. It's not its own token. Just 2 colons. Gotcha. Yeah. So I don't need like a new token there. 2 colon tokens. Okay. So then my equal token needs to now be a double equals because I'm using equals for assignment. Is that correct? That's a shame. Unless I overloaded it. But oh well. So I'll make this assignment. Sadly, yes. Alright, and then as far as operators go, these are all the same. Still have identifiers and literals. Is there anything else new I have? I don't think so. Everything else is the same, right? Oh, I changed comments. Well, no, those don't even get lexed, so it's okay. Cool. Now you've got all sorts of errors all over the place. So they're all in here. Actually, some of them are in here. Oh dear. Okay, so this needs to be changed. Assignment is now that. Cool. Now over here, we just need to find all the places where we erred. Right, so this, a minus is only a minus now. Because there's no double minus as a comment and there's no right arrow. So we just get rid of this entirely. Alright, that guy now is only this case, right? Because it can be less than or equal, and it can also be less than. This guy's fine. Val, yeah, okay, so val and mut aren't things anymore, we just have fun. Okay, I'm thinking let's just, can we just stick this thing in there? Just make this our test? I think that'd be good. Alright, ready? Here's our test. This is bad. I don't know if I need this R. I do. Okay, so there's our syntax. We'll just trim it. Just in case. Okay. Now here's what we expect. We want, sorry, let's just take one of those so we can copy it. First one should be an identifier foo.toString. Correct? Well, that's kind of a bad one to copy. All right, and then we want colon. Cool. 2 colons, and then int literal, which is 4. Then we want, oh wait, we have new line tokens, don't we? New line. Then, you do like how easy Rust makes to write tests. Yeah, Rust makes it pretty easy. New line, and then we have kind of the same thing, except it's now bar. We get a colon, and then we get another identifier, right? Which is int, and then equal or assignment. Ooh, see, assignment isn't really a good name. I should rename that. This should be this should be, okay, no, this guy should be called double equal. This guy should be called equal. Does Lexer still use the nth position thing? Yeah, it does, sadly. Equal 4. I kind of want to change that to like 5, so just, or 33. All right. Ideally write the test before the feature so that you aren't testing the implementation, but I'm not sure anybody does it like that. Hey, Stefan, I've been doing it like that actually. I did that for the whole parser. Int literal, okay, and then we have a new line. Then we have an identifier, which is calc.toString, and then we have colon colon, and then fun, and then we have left paren, and then we have tilde, and then we have an identifier, which is x.toString. And then we have a comma, and then we have a tilde, and we have another identifier, but this one's y, and then we have a colon, and then we have an identifier, and it's int, and then we have a right paren, and then we have another int, and then there's a left brace. And then there's an identifier. Oh wait, no, there's in the new line. There's a new line. There's a new line. I'll get the new lines in a second. There's an identifier, which is what, z. Then there's a colon colon. Then there's an identifier, which is x, and y. In between them is a slash. Then there's definitely a new line, so we'll just make this one a new line. Oops. And then Then we have another identifier, and this one is Z. And then we have exponent, and then we have an interliteral. Which is 2. And then there's a new line. New line, and then there's a right brace. After the right brace, there's an identifier which says calc.toString. And then there's a left paren. It's quite a test. And then there's another identifier, which is foo. Then there's a comma. Somebody's messaging me in Discord. It's Stefan. What are you naming the lang? It's called Lovely now. Foo, comma, bar, and there's right paren, and then there's a couple new lines, no? And then we have another identifier, and it is say hi. And then there's a colon, and then there's fun. And then there's left paren, and then there's identifier, and it is toString. And then we have person, and then there's a colon. And then there's another one, and it's string. Endcraft has to go. Thank you so much, Endcraft. Thanks for joining. Reiterating the expect tokes question. Also, when do we start to have an expect tokes so you can use an array? Hey, Stefan, you're a wizard. You're brilliant. Yeah. Good idea. This is not a framework. This is my own parser. Token kinds equal tokens dot map. Nope. Iter dot map token Come again? Why isn't this working? Why is this not working? Oh yeah. Thank you. Thank you, doozies. Has the work on the parser started? Yeah, this is the parser. These are tests for the parser I'm making. Oh wait, no, these are tests for the Lexer. I'm going back to the Lexer. Yes, the parser started. It's parsing expressions, but then I changed the syntax, so I'm going back to the Lexer. Okay. If yes, is the Lexer iterable? Yes, it is. If yes, the collect and the expect macro are avoidable. What macro? You mean this collect? All right. You think I can do this with a vim macro? Sorry, let me put Discord on Do Not Disturb. Okay. Oops. There we go. All right, ready? Here it goes with the macro. Boom, check that out. Okay, here we are. And then get rid of these. Yes, Vim is beautiful. Identify, where were we? So we had string, yeah, okay. And then we have right paren, and then we have left brace, and then we have another identifier, which is print, and then we have a left paren, and then we, oh dear, we don't have string literals yet. Hold on. Well, maybe just get rid of this whole thing down here. Oops. There we go. Okay. Yeah, because we don't believe in strings in this land, right? Okay. So where does that start with? Hey. Okay, here. All right. So now this should be failing because there's a legal token octothorpe. So we don't have octothorpes. Yes. Oh yes, remember all that logic we had for skipping comments? I kind of need to. All right, Xavier Thomas is making good suggestions. You guys say? What you're saying? I can do like this. Like that? Is that what you're suggesting? That is pretty nice. I agree. Thank you, Xavier. All right, where was that? Yes, hang on. Luckily, I can just copy this right back over. Or we could just try to do it again from scratch. So if I have this thingy, pull this up here. So if I have this guy, then we're going to, well, actually, let me just copy this. Well, Xavier really knows Rust. Xavier, you're on the Discord? Whenever somebody says something smart in chat live, we always try to get them to join the Discord. Yeah, we'll just take that. Pretty much verbatim. Stick it in here. Ta-da. What's the matter here? What did I do wrong? There's some syntax error in here. I feel like it's going to be something really obvious. What are you saying? Cannot apply unary operator. What? What are you talking about? Does anybody see the syntax error in this? Oh, it's these. There are actually a bunch of minuses. There we go. Looks like you can tell the token type from just the first character in this language. Well, not like down here we had to check to see if something was fun. And later on we're gonna have floats, and then we'll have like decimal points in the middle, so it won't always be that way, but alright, so this we don't have to advance 2 anymore because it's just one character. Otherwise this should be about the same. Sure enough, all tests are failing. Okay, I'm going to pull in pretty assertions. Pretty assertions. Do that, so this becomes a little easier to read, hopefully. All right. Yeah, just some new lines. Now you're on the Discord. Awesome, Xavier. Glad to have you. Yeah, so we missed some new lines. Let's look at where they are. So did I say double equal? Oh, we need to parse that. Okay, but then there's a new line. Yeah, okay, so it looks like there's a new line at the top because of that comment. And then right before calc, there's two new lines. That's okay. And then one before Z after the left brace, like this one. All right, so now we're just, oh wait, no, there's two more missing before this calc. All right, now we're just parsing that bed. Yeah, but for example, this one I'm doing right now, the double equal, I need to check to see, Mr. Nibbles, I need to check to see whether there's two equals or not, right? Because so it makes it a little more complicated, but it's basically just this pattern, right? This thing. If there's another one, then make a double equal. Otherwise, make an equal. There's not even two doing here. Oh, this is in the parser. Yeah, so our parser is failing now. Unsurprisingly. Well, it actually is kind of surprising, because these expressions should be the same. Oh, these don't exist anymore. That's probably why. Hey, now we're passing. Sweet, it's working. We totally changed the syntax and it still works. Okay, I'm gonna commit. Totally, or I'll say changed to less verbose Odin Jai inspired syntax. Why is that not working? There we go. Awesome. So that's fun. All right, next step, folks. Do we, probably not going to go too much longer, but for the next step, do we start working on, like, well, we need to parse some more stuff. We're only parsing expressions. That's a good point. Good point, good point. So maybe we should just parse the rest of what we have. That sounds like a good idea. Let's look at our test example, right? We need to parse variable declarations. Okay. Well, maybe I'll save that for the next stream. Yeah, I feel like we're at a good stopping point. So I'll stop there. We changed the syntax. We have a new syntax, and we are successfully parsing expressions, which is the hardest thing to parse, I've found generally. Or maybe just the most mind-bending thing to parse. Or most expressions, I guess. We haven't done function expressions and stuff like that, but. And then, what else do we do? Yeah, just like those two things. So I guess I'll stop there. Thanks everybody for being on. Doozies likes the syntax. Cool. All right, well, I'll see you guys on Discord and in the next stream. Thanks everybody.